What's happening? What's up, Facebook Live? How are you? This is Knowledge by Nikki with 1K. I'm trying to finish on out the efficiency week here. I'm actually on a little bit earlier because I actually have something I have to do at 9 o'clock. So it's normally Knowledge by Nikki at 9, but today it is Knowledge by Nikki at 8, at least Central. It's 9 somewhere. It's 9 on the East Coast. It's 6 a.m. on the West Coast, guys, but this is Knowledge by Nikki. And we've been talking all week about efficiency. That's what we've been talking about all week long. Hey, let me say hey to everybody out there. Hey, I got a monitor. I'm looking at you all right here while it's actually live streaming through my phone. Let's talk about efficiency again. Let me go back and talk about what we've talked about all week. On day one, we talked about the True Hair 3D imaging system. This system was designed to be able to make all of you all who do hair replacement, hair restoration, whatever you want to call it, because we all got different names for it. It was able to actually eliminate all the molding process. You know, the molds that we create, the pack and tape molds and the plaster molds and all these things we've been doing for years. It basically allowed you to be able to cut all that out to create a really thorough consultation system, as well as a 3D imaging or grafting system to create a totally accurate mold and to go in and make adjustments if a person's hair loss area either goes up or down. So those of you all, if this is you just now logging on to me and you didn't see any of the videos all week, go back to Monday. I don't know what Monday was, but just go on my page, knowledgebynikki.com with 1K, or you can go on my personal page, which is what you're on now, and you can go back and look at Monday's video. But that was what True Hair was about. It was about creating the value in the system, so therefore you can be more efficient. But let me go back again. I always like to define what efficiency means. Let me define that again for some of you all that may have just come on today. Let me define efficiency so you can know where we're going. Efficiency is the ability to avoid, and I say that it's the key word, avoid, wasting materials, energy, efforts, money, and time. You hear that? I'm going to say it again. It's the ability to avoid. We don't want to do that. Wasting materials, that would be like our products. Wasting energy, that's us taking longer than we need to do something. It don't take all of that. Our efforts, it's also kind of combined with our energy. Our money, we all know what that means, right? You're wasting money. And our time in doing something with the intention to produce a desired result. I'll say it again. I've said it all week. When you are being more, or you consider yourself to be an efficient person, you are always trying to find the shortest, most effective route to get to any destination. So I want to spend the least amount of money, the least amount of time, the least amount of energy, the least amount of effort, and the least amount of materials without sacrificing the quality of what I'm trying to do to get to a desired place. That is what efficiency is about. I can tell you, being in this game 31 years, we have not been working efficiently. We have not. We just all over the place. I talked about, on day 2, I talked about our etiquette. We talked about pricing. That's what we talked about. This is what this whole conversation was about. It was dealing with money. I go everywhere, all over this country. Even when I've been out of the country, it's the same story. People can't get people to pay what they feel they should pay for what it is that they're giving them. And the first thing I ask them is, well, what do you think you're giving them that would make them want to pay more than, say, even the standard market value for this particular service? And no one could ever answer that question. So I want to kind of help you define that. When you talk about asking someone to pay more, and let me park right there for a minute. Today's customer, today's staff member, because I'm talking to salon owners, and also obviously there are some salon professionals that listen to me often also. They are looking for an experience, guys. This is what it has to equal out to. When you start asking people for more money and you higher than the average salon that's out there, or you're higher than, you're on the high end because you got the low end, the kind of mid-range, and then you have the upper echelon or the higher end of salons. If you want to put yourself on the higher end, or you just want to graduate from the low end to the mid-range and et cetera, which is what you should be doing, you have to make sure all this is in order. Your etiquette, how do you greet your people? How do you speak to them? Or do you speak to them? I've seen stylists and I've never understood it. I'm going to pay you and you are not even going to speak to me. I have heard some of the stylists that I know operate this way. When you go to a store, you go to Walmart, you get offended if you walk up to the cashier and she or he doesn't speak. I have seen some of you all operate that exact same way in your businesses. Your whole etiquette is bad. When it comes to etiquette, you have to greet people that are taking care of you, that are putting food on your table. You have to try to remember things about what they told you last week. How was your vacation? They may have told you something about their kids or whatever. Try to remember those things. Those are the things that produce good etiquette. That's what that does. We're not going to go deeper into that. Look on Tuesday's video. I went all the way into that energy. How many of us have walked into a place, my marker doesn't want to write. How many of us have walked into a place where the energy was just bad? Energy is what you don't say. Etiquette is what you do say. Energy is what your whole aura exudes when a person walks in the door. And let me tell you something I have learned about good and bad energy. It usually, and more times than not, it totally takes over the entire culture of the business. When people in a business have bad energy, when you walk in, you can feel it. It's like, woo, it feels kind of cold in here. And when they have good energy, you can walk in and you can feel that too. What type of energy are you exuding to your customer? How comfortable, how calm do you make them feel? If they've had a rough day, how does it feel when they sit in your chair? Do they feel like, Lord, I feel worse than I did when I came in here? Or do you make them feel better? And that is not about what you say. That's about making the conscious effort to exude positivity and productivity and happiness. That is intentional, and all of us have control over that, not based off of your conditions or your situation. Then we talk about environment. Where do you work? What does it look like? Is everything raggedy? Is it dark? Is it the lighting bad? Half the lights out, half of them on? Is the rest of the stylists, if you possess some good energy and good etiquette, is the rest of the environment awful? What is the environment like? Are people eating chicken everywhere, cussing, drinking, smoking? What is the environment like? Because it also will affect how much money. So when you want to go up on a person, they won't even understand why they're paying that, because they don't want all of this, okay? So your environment matters, guys. Then we talked about execution. You still got to be good at what you do. If you're an auto mechanic, I don't care how great the environment is and how pretty it is, you still have to fix my car right. If you're a hairstylist, and all of this matters, but you still have to work on your skill set, your technique, your execution of what you are there to do and what they're paying for still has to be good, at least good, hopefully excellent, okay? Then we get into excellence. You know what excellence is? And I didn't have a time to define it, but excellence is the ability to produce this over and over and over again. The ability to be consistent with your etiquette, your energy, your environment, and your execution. That is not doing something one time. When somebody is excellent at something, we look at that. I'm an NBA fan. We talk about LeBron James, Michael Jordan. There are many more. Kobe Bryant, when you talk about excellence, those are people that produced the same or so close to the same result over and over and over again. It wasn't according to how they felt. It wasn't even according to whether they were injured or not. They managed to be able to bring themselves up to a standard that never wavered. And that is why they are considered great. People that go from good to great are people that have exuded a sense of excellence. And let me tell you something. When you get here, that's when the client now has an experience, and they're like, the everything about what you do is so wonderful. When you say, okay, I'm Mr. and Mrs. Wonderful, I want to let you know that as of January 1st, 2019, the prices are going to go up $10 across the board, or 50%, or 20%, or however you need to do it. What can they say? Okay, They can't say you're late every day. They can't say your attitude is bad. You don't even speak half the time. They can't say the place you're in is raggedy. They have nothing to say other than, okay, either they're going to pay it or they're not, but they have nothing to come back on you on. That is when you're being efficient. But you got to get it together before you start doing that. So we talked about that for a little while the other day. Then yesterday we talked about scheduling. We talked about not having people having you all over the place. When you want to be, that's about your time and your efforts. You can't have people, okay, can you come in now? No, I don't work today. You establish some days that you work and you make people fit into that. And I don't want to hear, but I don't want to turn the money down. Look, I have lived in my shop. I have literally found change in my car to buy food when I didn't have any money. I know what it means to be totally broke, and you don't want to turn nothing down. It's not about that. It's about making people fit into your world and not have them pulling you all over into theirs. I promise you, if you got all this together and you say I work Wednesday through Saturday and these are the hours that I work, they'll figure it out. Whether they got to take a half a day, come in early, I don't care what they have to do. Or if you're going to come in on a day, then you charge them overtime, just like they get paid at their job. They don't work on that day and they got to come in, or they don't work those hours and somebody wants them to come in, they get double time, time and a half, whatever. That means that you got to do the same thing. There's a off day fee, call it whatever you want to call it. We talked about that yesterday. Now let's talk about today, education, guys. Let's talk about education. Let me tell you something. I've been teaching in the industry. I do have a teacher's license too. I have taught at schools. I'm going to let you all that teach at schools, I'm going to let you all have that, because that was not for me. Because I was ready to put people out of school every single day, right? Because it's just a different breed that's in school now, but we got to have them. So God bless you all that teach in school. But I've been a platform educator since 1997. And I've worked for many companies, white, black, Asian. I worked for some Ukrainians. I didn't work all over the spectrum with different companies, different type of products. I've worked on the back end, in the lab where the stuff is made. So I've been in this game for a minute. 97 was when I started my first education. It was with Johnson's Product Companies. For my old schoolers that remember Johnson's, that's where I started. So this is what I've noticed about education. And I have people ask me this all the time. I have two coaching groups, and I have one that I'm starting in January. I have Aspire, which is ambitious salon professionals inspiring in real entrepreneurship. That's people who want to open a salon within the next 3 years. So if that's you, hit me up, 800-580-8074. We'll talk about it. Then I have Stretch. Stretch is my babies that's been in the game for a minute, and we didn't, got off a little bit. You got to have a salon from 2 to 20 years. You got to have a salon. It's broken. You need to fix it. Can't keep staff. That's Stretch. I'm going to teach you how to stretch, okay? I'm going to kind of help you out with that so you can kind of get some things back together. So that is that group. It's called Stretch. Then I have a new group coming up in January, because I've been asked 1,000 times, and it's people that are just salon professionals. They ain't ready to quite open a salon yet. They don't even necessarily want to do it in 3 years. They don't own one, but they're just trying to figure out how to build their chair, and it's called Build. That is the name of that group. It'll start in January. So somebody put that number up for me. It's 800-580-8074. Text me. That is a designated text line. It comes right here. If that is something you want to learn more about, we'll talk about it, because I don't let everyone in. I try to make sure it's a fit for you and what you need, I can provide, and we go through all of that. So let's talk about education. And we provide a lot of that in the groups too. This is something I learned back always since 97, is you have what you call education junkies out there. They go from class to class to class to class to class to class to class, and they do absolutely nothing with the information they've learned. Nothing. Now, what did I say efficiency was again? I shouldn't have memorized the definition by now, but let me read it again. It is the ability to avoid wasting materials. Okay, sometimes when you go into these classes, they hands-on, they got you bringing all this stuff, and you pay for it, you use it, and then you go back and do nothing with it. Energy, it's a lot of energy, y'all. Take it from a person that travels all the time. It's energy getting out driving to the airport, getting out the car, checking in, making sure all these bags weigh what they're supposed to weigh, trailing stuff, going to get the bags on the other end, got to get to the hotel. As much as I love what I do, I don't really like that part of it, because it requires a lot of constant energy to do that over and over again. And some of y'all doing that all the time. Y'all doing that on a regular basis. Energy efforts. Efforts go right into energy. That requires effort to do all of that, to take all this education and do all of that. But this is where I'm going. And we know money and time, right? I see you all doing all this education, but you do absolutely nothing with it. I personally don't believe in that. I believe that the minute you decide to take a class, go to a show, go to a seminar, symposium, whatever they want to call it, you should have already in mind what you're going to do with that information. Okay? I ask this question all the time. People call me, I've been everywhere, this, that, and I still don't know what to do with this education. First of all, let's talk about what percentage of your income are you spending on education. Now, this is my opinion. This is not statistical. This is no rule anywhere. I personally feel, let's say I'm going to do a nice round figure. If you make 100 grand, okay? If you make 100 grand, this is my opinion. I ain't telling you how to spend your money, but this is where I know you can put your money where your mouth is, so to speak, with what we say we want. If you spend anywhere from 5 to 10%, that's anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, depending on the industry that you're in. Because obviously, if you're doing color classes or hair restoration or hair replacement or a treatment class, if you're doing some of those kind of classes, you're probably going to be more into this figure. You're probably going to be, because those class, you could spend $1,500 and up on one class. Okay? If you're doing color classes, cutting classes, weaving classes, stuff like that, the classes may cost you $2.99 here, $3.99 there, and I'm writing crazy because I'm sitting down here. They may cost you things like that, but you should try to get somewhere around this figure. And this is not just in classes. This is podcast. This is books. This is a lot of you all are part of coaching groups like mine. This is all types of education. This is what I want to say about the education piece, though. A lot of you all will call and say, Nikki, I want to take this class. Does it make sense for me to take this class? The first thing I tell you is, or ask you, is what are you going to do with that information? Because if you have no plans to do something with it, then no, it doesn't make sense. So this is what I want to say. I'm going to erase this. When it gets into education, if you take a color class, because other than that, it's wasted energy, it's wasted efforts, it's wasted money, it's wasted time. You're wasting everything if you're not going to do anything with it. If you take a color class, which y'all know I teach color, right? If you take a color class, and my color class, I'll use me, it's $1,500 for 3 days. And it's worth every dime. $1,500 for 3 days, okay? I make sure you have pricing. I make sure you do all of that. So let's say you spend $1,500. Now that's already out of that $5,000, which is that 5%. We already now at $3,500, right? That's all we got left to spend for the year, or that's all that we're going to spend for the year. So if you invest $1,500, the average color service is going to cost you, we'll say maybe $100. If you do it right, $100 to $200. Okay? That's the average color service. You need to already have in your mind how many people you're going to do or what you're going to do. This should be paid and reimbursed to you within 30 days. That's my rule. I'm on a 30-day rule. If I'm going to spend some money, if I'm going to spend $1,500, that means if I get 7 to 8 people to be so, or actually I can make it easier. Those of you all that have a decent clientele, if you just do, let's say in 30 days, that's 4 weeks, right? And I want you to position every class you do like this, a 30-day rule. In 4 weeks, if I don't do but 20 people a week, that's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket for the average stylist. So if I got 80 people for 30 days, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make this money back in 30 days because I have to be efficient with my spending. It has to bring me something. It has to bring me what we call ROI, return on investment. And I'm thinking about making this return in 30 days. So I'm like, okay, out of those 80 people, I'm sitting in class. I ain't even waiting till I'm done. I'm sitting in class saying to myself, okay, how I'm going to get 80 people to maybe spend somewhere mid-range? Okay, you might get some 100, some 200. That's 80 people. So if I just figure out of 20 people a week, if I got in 4 weeks, if I break that $1,500 up in 4 weeks, what is that, guys? That's divided by 4. That's a little less than $400 a week. So we say about $350 a week that I have to get in color services. Not a problem. That means at least 5 people a week have to have a $70 upsell. That is super easy. You add a highlight, a low light, a demi, a semi, easily get the money. So I'm literally in class sitting down saying, how could I make all this education I take more efficient? Save me time, make me more money, etc., etc. So all I'm doing is saying 5 people out of the 20 that I have a week. Out of those 20, I'm just going to upsell 5 of them $70. Well, that could be 1 or 2 things that they get. If they get lightened and toned, if they get a double process, you could easily get $70 more for that. You could easily get that. So we talking about 7. So if I follow this is like bare bones. I'm doing 20 people a week. I'm going in there making a conscious effort to get 5 people to spend $70 more. Or you want to make that simpler? Get 10 people to spend $35 more. That's all you got to do. When you do that, you have easily in 30 days, you've paid yourself back. And you've leveraged what you have. And now you've taken no, because they got to keep getting that stuff. They got to keep getting it. Over and over and over. This is how you make your education efficient. Stop just jumping around from place to place to place. I get it. I know we want to learn some stuff. Look, I didn't spend ridiculous, I still do, amounts of money on education, but I do not go to not a class with a plan. All right, I didn't spend $3,000 on this. What am I going to do with this? I'm thinking about it before I even hit the door. What am I going to do with this education? Because I'm not going to lose money. So let me figure this out so I can make sure I'm also figuring out this. Let's talk about retail. We ain't even talk about the retail dollars. You done got all of these people into color, and I'm just using that because that's what I do. You done got all these people into color. Now, all these people, they don't all come to you on a regular basis. The ones that aren't salon junkies, they need shampoo. They need conditioner. If they wear their hair wet, they need a certain texturizing cream. Whatever. They need all this stuff, which now has even compounded. This here is adding more money to the pot. I want you to be on a 30-day plan. When you go sit and you do a cutting class, weaving class, hair restoration class, color class, I don't care what it is. If you are not focused on making that make sense to you and build your business and grow your business with it, money, you might say, look, I'm just going to give me a whole new clientele. I'm going to do a special and I'm going to run something to draw more people. In 30 days, we got a 30-day special. You get with every shampoo and style, you get a free semi. Or a shampoo and style, you get a free demi. Make sure it's stuff that doesn't cost you a whole lot. You can start building a whole new clientele if you desire to do that with color. So this is something that I want you all to get. You should be on a 30-day rule. If you can't figure out what you can do with that information in 30 days, it is not making you more efficient. You just become less efficient because you're spending your money, your time, your energy on something you either aren't or can't do anything with. That's how I want you to look at education. That's how I want you to look at it. If you don't see it that way, then, or if you don't see how you can do it that way, then I would say you may need to wait to take it. You may need to do a little research, figure out, check out your clients, like how much would you pay for this and that? Start asking them. But again, when you got all this, everything I've ever learned, because I had this together, whatever I said I was going to charge for it, all they say is, okay, you got layaway? I'm going to have to get another job to do what you got to do. Oh, maybe we could put it on installments. Maybe I could pay towards it. But it was never that I'm just not going to get it or I don't think it's worth it. It was always them figuring out how they can make it work for them because they could not say that I wasn't worth it. Y'all get it? This is what efficiency is about. When you become more efficient, you do things that you think differently. You approach what you do differently. You spend your money differently. You spend your time differently. And let me talk to all my salon owners out there or even my stylists who have been in the game for 20 plus years. As we get older, we really start looking at time very differently. Because money you can make again. You can lose money and make some of that again. Not that I'm advocating doing that. But you start looking at your time more preciously. Because time is something, once it's gone, period. So how do we preserve time, money, energy, efforts, and materials? Okay? How do we do that? So this is all I'm going to say today, guys. It is 8:25 and it's my time. I got to go. Today is a day. I only do hair 2 days a week, guys. Thursday and Friday from 9 to 7. So today is that day. I'm here in my office and you know, I always got stuff to do. When people say they're bored, I don't even know what it means to be bored. I always have a lot to do. So I'm in my office. I'm going to try to get a little bit of work done before my clients come because, you know, I don't like kind of breaking my mind up. When I'm with clients, I'm with clients. When I'm in my office, I'm in my office. So I'm getting ready to sign off. This is Knowledge by Nikki with 1K. Please, if you need me to help you, call or text me at 800-580-8074. It is a text line. It comes right here. And Mr. Claiborne Bakalaka, I need to speak to you. So I'm going to call you when I get off of this phone. So make sure you are, and make sure, Claiborne, text me. I'm talking to somebody on the screen. Text me at that number to make sure I got your right number, 800-580-8074. I need to speak to you, like right now. So as soon as I get off this live, I'm going to call you. I love my Facebook Live audience. You all make me so, it's beyond happy. I can't even use the word happy. I travel all over this country and, you know, I do these Facebook Lives as a labor of love. I love helping people. I love sharing information. I was doing it before Facebook Live. I was coaching when I wasn't calling it coaching. I was mentoring when I wasn't calling it mentoring. I just made it official. But when you all tell me, and I done cried many times about how some of these talks have literally helped you all from jumping off the ledge and you didn't quit. I didn't have people come up to me and tell me I was ready to give up the shop. I was ready to just quit doing hair, and I listened to your lives, and it gave me a little bit more what I needed to keep it going. It gave me hope. You all do not understand how much that means to me. That is like, and I mean, I get it everywhere, and I'm so still nostalgic about it. I'm like, God, these many people actually listen. I'm everywhere. I'm in airports, and they're like, you're that girl I listen to every morning. And these are people that don't even do hair sometimes. So I thank you all. I do not take that for granted. I do not look at it as something that's light. I believe the problem in this world today is that we have a lack of leadership, lack of good leadership. And those that aspire to be leaders don't understand the call. They don't understand the responsibility of leadership. If you're a leader, salon owner, school owner, manager, if you are in any leadership position, your responsibility is to affect and influence the minds of the people you lead for positive results, for positive gain, for productive situations. It's not just something we do. It is a responsibility. So the only reason that we have so many people wayward, I believe, with everything inside of me, is because all the way from parenting to the teachers to the this to the that, we have poor leadership. People are looking for something to latch on to that helps them grow. Now, I know we're in a world where we listen to a bunch of garbage too, but when the TV's off and ain't no more ratchet TV on, and when you turn the radio off, at the end of that, people still have to live for real. It is not reality TV anymore or reality radio. It is not just the image. It is real life stuff. And I believe it is a leader's responsibility to influence positive change, to help move the needle, to help people understand what they shouldn't be doing and give them solutions on how to do it better. And I believe that's what we lack. So I'm going to do my part, y'all. I'm going to do my part to the day I take my last breath. I just want to say thank you to all my Facebook followers. You all know I got a lot of conferences going on. I want to see you there. I want to see you. I got the Salon Owners Conference, which is Save Our Salons. All my salon owners that listen to me every day, I want to see you there. I've made it very cost effective. I'll give you the information. It includes hotel for 2 days and food. And all you got to do is get yourself there. It's right at the airport, Midway Airport here in Chicago. So also text that number, 800-580-8074. If this is something you want to learn more about. I still have payment arrangements. It's not until November, so you got time. I have my Color Me Crazy, which my September class is full. I have a couple more seats for October. That right now is probably going to be the last one for the year. So if you all are interested in this class I talked about, it's worth every dime. It's not a brand specific class, so it's really about, now I do have brands I prefer now, and I'm going to make sure you know what those are at the class. But I explain to you why I prefer them. I explain to you why I think this is better, and I position them and I let you choose. But this is a class that's about kind of just leveling up. That's all it's about. Just leveling up and making sure your education doesn't go to waste. I work really hard with you to help you understand where you need to go. When you leave this class, this is what you need to be doing. I make you write down 5 names. You're going to write down 5 people. Where's that? 5 people. Before you leave, write down 5 names. I want to know who you're thinking about doing XYZ on. I want you to think about it while you're here. So if you all want to get into that, I think I have 5 seats left for October. That's it. So, and once they're gone, they're gone. I don't pack classes out no more because it's too stressful for me. So if a class gets full and I see I can maybe put in my schedule to do another one, I'll do that. Other than that, that's it. So you all text me, 800-580-8074. I'm calling Claiborne as soon as I get off this call. But everybody else, if you text me, give me throughout today to give you a call, because at 9 o'clock it's on. And I got, it's 8:32, I got to go. All right, this is Knowledge by Nikki with 1K. Love you all. Thank you. See you tomorrow.